I'm a recovering lawyer. Thank you. So I went to law school. And for any of you who went to law school, if there's anybody here who's a lawyer too, you can admit it privately if you want later. But the people that you're closest to from law school are those people who are in your first year study group. You have this small group of people that everybody puts together. There were 8 of us in my group. And we studied together. And you get to see everybody at their absolute worst. These are your best friends. One of the guys that was in my study group, give me his profile. You know, he came, we went to law school at Seton Hall University in New Jersey. He came from an Ivy League school to Seton Hall. He was the smartest of all of us. He became an editor of the Law Review. He was the first one of us who got a job out of school. Got it at a big, prominent law firm in our state. He's making more money than any rest of us. He married an incredibly beautiful woman who's a doctor. They have 3 gorgeous daughters, one cuter and happier and more talented than the next. He was the first one among us to become a partner at his law firm. He bought a great house. He had a great car, and worse yet, he was really good looking and in perfect shape. The guy used to run 10, 12 miles a week, every week. So we loved him, but we hated him because the guy had everything, right? He was running one day in his normal routine. He hurt his back. So he went to the doctor because he was having trouble working. He was really hurt. And so he said, listen, we're going to give you some treatment, whatever. But in the meantime, just to help you get you through, we're going to give you Percocet. Help numb the pain. Well, about a year later, I get a call from his wife. And she said, he's addicted to these painkillers. And he won't listen. And I kicked him out of the house. And he's living at his parents' house, and you guys need to go and have an intervention with him. Those friends from law school, you need to go and get him to go to rehab. So we all went over there. We had an intervention with him, and it started a 10-year odyssey of him being in and out of rehab. During that period of time, she divorced him. He lost his right to see his girls. He lost his license to practice law. He lost his driver's license. He lost his home. He bought himself a condo, and she kicked him out. He lost that. He lost all the money, spent all the money that he had saved, and then spent through most of his retirement. When a year and a half ago on a Sunday morning, Mary Pat and I got the call that we've been dreading forever, that they found him dead in a motel room with an empty bottle of Percocet and an empty quart of vodka. 52 years old. By every measure that we define success in this country, this guy had it. He had everything. He's a drug addict, and he couldn't get help, and he's dead. And when I sat there as the governor of New Jersey at his funeral and looked across the pew at his 3 daughters sobbing because their dad is gone, there but for the grace of God go I. It can happen to anyone. And so we need to start treating people in this country, not jailing them. We need to give them the tools they need to recover, because every life is precious. Every life is an individual gift from God. And we have to stop judging and start giving them the tools they need to get better.
So that started real early. About 10 years old, started drinking. First time I was drunk was 10 years old. Found my opiate is my real poison, and that started with prescription pills, which led to heroin. SRC, Scottsdale Recovery Center, I've been there 6 months and 2 weeks, May 7th, so about 6 months and 1 week now. I came in there May 7th, 2 days after Cinco de Mayo. Came in there, was broken, was lost. Didn't know what the hell I was doing. Had a job I was barely maintaining, trying to stay sober. Wasn't working though. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with myself. I probably would have been back in prison real soon if I hadn't found SRC, to be honest. Grandfather got a heart transplant when I was 14. He took 44 pills a day rejection pills to stay alive, and I know there was 44 because I would count them out for him. And this is without the painkillers. He didn't take painkillers, didn't like them. But they laced him up real good with a lot of them, and I found that stash when I was 14, and that's when it set off. Oxycodone, hydrocodone, the generics for Percocet and Vicodin. Started getting real involved with the heavy painkillers. That was kind of like training wheels for me, though. That was when I was 14. Taking about 9 to 10 of them a day, and it progressed very quickly.
Well, I would say I had a problem for about 10 years, especially with the pills. I've always had self-esteem issues, and that's something I do still struggle with, especially moving out to Arizona when I did. I was at an impressionable age of 16, so I didn't feel like I quite fit in, and that's kind of where it all started. It made me feel hopeless because, like I said, I couldn't live life normally every day like everyone else. Like, I would say I was a functioning addict and alcoholic, but like I would go into stores and like my amount of anxiety, my hands were shaking. Like I sometimes like couldn't even like go into places because I would just have this fear of anxiety all the time. And that was definitely from drinking from the night before, using the pills I was using, and it wasn't a life that was worth living to me. I had ADD, obviously. I had a hard time focusing in school, and that really helped me with that. But I also found out through friends that Adderall can make you lose weight, and so I started taking it, and I had a really long bout of an eating disorder. I was anorexic, and the Adderall just kind of played into that because it didn't make you want to eat. You had like no appetite. So that's how it started.
I had a friend pass away. He's my roommate. Went to school with him, worked the restaurant business with him, real close with him, did everything with him. He passed away from addiction. Won't get too much into it, but that had a real impact on me when I went to his funeral and saw him laid out on a bed. There was a viewing before the funeral, and I don't even really remember seeing him so much in the funeral. I was like, I didn't look, but at the viewing is where it really got me, seeing a guy that I grew up with that had my back through everything, you know, just laid out on a bed, gone. And that's when I realized I needed help. And did I get help right away? No, but I knew I needed it.
I think people think that we chose this. I'm firsthand telling you, like, we didn't choose to live like this. It's not fun.
But yeah, family was ashamed of me. I mean, they didn't want nothing to do with me. They don't want to put money on your books where they're going to reward you for going to prison and doing it. No. So yeah, it was all negative, man. Nothing good.
So a lot of times people don't understand that addiction is a disease, and it's been proven to be one. So it's just kind of one and the same. It's like we didn't choose this, and we're curing ourselves of it, but there is no cure. It's just lifelong commitment to sobriety.
What would you say to someone who may be battling it themselves?
What would I say? That it's not easy, you know, that's obvious. If they're battling with themselves, they're gonna know that, but if you really want it, there's a way out. You just gotta be willing to do the work. You just gotta kind of nut up and be willing to put in the work, because it's not gonna be easy. It still isn't. It's a whole lot better though, it gets easier. There's love, there's help out there, there's people just like you with the same story, if not worse.
A lot of people that have these misconceptions aren't informed. They don't look into anything. They just think you do drugs and you're an addict because you want it to be, and you put those drugs in your mouth. But it's hard to say, it's hard to know what to say to those kind of people.
If you're not an addict, they don't understand. They don't get it. They just think that we're selfish pieces of shit, whatever. They don't want to understand. They don't fully get it. But yeah, face that definitely every day. Don't judge us so much. Maybe pray for us. Pray for us. Don't judge us, because we don't like it any more than you do. Just the desperation to not want to feel this way, not want to have to fight this every single day. I mean, it's an enemy inside of us, and you got to fight it every single day.
I'm studying sociology. I eventually want to be a social worker to work with recovering addicts like myself.
I'm enrolled at SWIHA, Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. I've been there for about 3 months now. Going to school for fitness nutrition. Ultimately, I want to be a fitness nutrition coach. Right now, I'm in an urban farming and conscious living class. For me and my practice, this is something that I feel that I want to do first.
If you want help, you can get it. I know a lot of people think that, oh, I can't afford it, but you can. There are a lot of places that help you with that. There's scholarships, there's certain places that, you know, can help you get the help you need, but first and foremost, you have to want the help, and it took me 10 years to get to the point where I wanted it.
If you ever know an addict or see somebody out there struggling, whatever, maybe just try to help them in any way, you know, whatever way it might be. Maybe just pray with them real quick, whatever, then go about your business. But just by doing something simple like that, it might spark something in their brain and enable them to go want to get up, dust themselves off, and go get help, or, you know, put in that work just because you decided to say a little prayer with them real quick. Just maybe take the time to show a little compassion, like, hey man, I feel you, you know. I'm gonna be praying for you. What's your name? I'm gonna pray for you tonight. Hang in there.
I think once people start getting comfortable with the idea that it is a disease, then people wouldn't be so worried to be like, yes, I have a problem, I have an addiction, or I'm an alcoholic. I think that it would make them feel more comfortable to go to somebody. You know, if someone's struggling, just like anyone else that would be struggling, have compassion.